It was just another day in my life when I was walking home from school. My backpack was strapped over my shoulder and a big grin was on my face. My footsteps resounded around me as I walked along the banks of the small river running through my hometown. A small book was resting in my embrace, protected from the sunlight by my figure. It wasn't a precious book per se, but still, this book meant the world to me, because this book was supposed to embody my dream. The small book in my embrace with the title shining slightly from the sunlight, sneaking past my defense and onto it. The name of the book was The Glorious World of Talent, BSTT. When you hear the word BSTT, you know exactly what it means. BSTT is an acronym for the most prestigious school in the world, the boarding school for talented teenagers. A school that the European Council built to battle the prestigious school in the East known as Hope's Peak Academy. A program like this was first seen 20 years ago when Japan made the school to collect extraordinary students from around the country who excelled in their fields of knowledge. These students were known as Ultimates. You repeatedly heard stories of Ultimates like the Ultimate Mechanic or the Ultimate Swimmer. They were known around the world. The European Council tried to copy the idea of an Ultimate school and made BSTT, and it's always been my dream to be able to attend it. Who am I, you may ask? Well, my name is Zoe Ludex, and my dream is to be an image.
Prologue! And again.
I woke up in a cold sweat. The chill of it ran against my skin. I felt a somewhat uncomfortable sensation underneath me. A bed? I ran my hand over the bed surface, trying to understand what was happening. My surroundings were that of a small room. I would guess it would be around 10 square meters. There was a closet beside the bed and what seemed to be an alarm clock beside me, standing on a small bedside table. A red carpet was used as a floor, and when I slowly swung my legs out from the bed, it felt soft to the touch. There was a small door in the wall, and a bathroom came into view when I opened it. My cold sweat intensified as I looked around. There was another door, but beside it was a coat hanger. I ran to the other end of the room to find a small table, almost like a school desk. I slowly backed away from the desk and tripped over my own feet. I stumbled back and fell into the bathroom. I lay there on the ground, and as I slowly grabbed the nearest thing to get up, I was met with my own eyes. A mirror above the sink. My brown curly hair went to my shoulders. One of my hair strands curled into the air, then dropped slightly, dangling like the lamp on an anglerfish. Some of my hair curled out in front of my right eye, hiding it from view. The other eye's amber color was shining out. I wasn't wearing any clothes I knew I owned. I was draped in a red vest with a white blouse underneath. Black cloak resembling that of a court dress was slipped over my right shoulder, covering my right side. It was wrapped around my neck using a string. I had a necklace around my neck, dangling the symbol of a scale. A small piece of jewelry made of silver, or maybe just painted iron. A black piece of cloth was wrapped around my forehead like a bandana, but it looks more like a piece of fabric for a blindfold rather than a bandana. A black pencil skirt was clad over my front, and some fine black shoes were on my feet. Lastly, inside my cloak was a petite pocket, and I could feel something solid. When I took it out, it revealed itself as a gavel made of pristine wood of different kinds. There's a bit of a darker oak around the handle, but a light orangey wood around the hammer itself. In trying to recompose myself, I walked back into the bedroom.
Okay. Easy now. Just relax. Try to remember what happened.
My words escaped my lips, but the message didn't seem to reach my heart. My anxiety was building up. The last thing I remember was a typical day in my life. Walking down the bank in my hometown, and now I'm here, dressed weirdly, and the sound of a knock broke apart my thoughts. I quickly turned to the door I hadn't opened. I slowly walked towards it. It was 2 firm knocks on the door. Reaching for the gavel in my coat, I slowly approached, grabbing the handle. I swung it open, and I was met by an unfamiliar boy with 2 sharp, scary eyes. My instinct kicked in, and I swung my gavel at him.
Whoa!
Easy! Easy! Not the hammer!
He rolled across the floor into my room. I charged after him, swinging the gavel again.
Whoa!
He jumped over the bed, grabbing his hat that had fallen off his head.
Calm down, miss. Easy.
Who are you?
The boy had beige hair that seemed a bit unruly and unkempt. It was wavy, and in thick, long logs of hair instead of fine strands. He was wearing a dark red Panama hat with a black strap. He was wearing a white dress shirt with the lower front facing stuffed into his pants and the upper front facing over. It was buttoned up to around his chest, which was slightly open, revealing a black tie. The tie wasn't put on correctly, uneven and asymmetrical. He was wearing a beige jacket over the dress shirt. It was slightly wrinkled, but the collar somewhat crooked. His sleeves were rolled up to about his elbows with a red cuff. He was wearing white flared pants with a few stains on them. It didn't seem like spill stains, but just use stains. Black shoes to accommodate it all. He was wearing a wooden bead armband with one of the beads missing on his left hand. His eyes were grayish blue, and he had some stubble on his cheeks and chin. He was also wearing a silver band ring on his left thumb.
Okay. Deep breath. Follow me.
He showed both of his hands, indicating he wasn't trying to hurt me. He took a deep breath, and his sleazy, but somewhat laid-back smile seemed to have a bit of a calming effect on me.
There you go. One more time. Good. There we go, Missy. I'm not here to hurt you. I was actually hoping we could talk.
Go on.
Good, good. I know you're scared, but don't worry. Do you mind telling me your name, Missy?
He was very nonchalant and didn't seem to hold a grudge after I swung my hammer at him.
Well, could you tell me yours? It's impolite to ask someone without telling one's own name first.
He threw his hands behind his head and grinned from ear to ear.
Name's Marcel. Marcel Ingeator. I'm part of the 27th class of the BSTT talent program. I'm known as the Ultimate Agency Scout, aka I'm the person who will be in charge of finding new ultimates the moment I graduate.
He threw out his hand with a smile. A sleazy, fake, and even to some degree, a bit dorky smile. I held out my hand and gently took his, shaking it.
My name is Zoe Ludex, and
Like a rushing stream of water being held by a dam, my memory suddenly broke free from the haze and it came back. I looked at my gavel. Then the words flew out of me before I realized I'd spoken them.
I'm also part of the BSTT's 27th class. I'm the ultimate judge.
He smiled and dipped his hat, letting go of my hand.
Nice to meet you, Zoe. See, we are in a bit of a predicament, as you can see.
He walked to the door while he was speaking, and I followed him. I looked outside into an unfamiliar corridor. It was stretched out to purple colors, with a lot of doors on each side, and at the end of the hall was a tree?
It seems we have been taken somewhere unknown. But knowing we are both part of the 27th class, I think you and I should stick together for a bit. Don't you agree?
We headed into the corridor.
It seems like you're the last to wake up, too.
Last one?
Yes, if you count the doors in this hallway, we are exactly 16. Normal BSTT class. I've already walked around, talked to some of the others. It seems our whole class got a good little ticket onto this mystery ride.
He might have been joking, but there was a hint of seriousness in his tone.
We all agreed to have a look around, and Lil ol' me was tasked with finding who was still asleep. And lo and behold, that was you, Zoe.
How can you be so calm?
He looked over his shoulder, stopping in his stride. He grabbed his hat and slowly lowered it to hide his eyes from me. And with an almost scary grin, he just uttered the words.
What good would fear do for us right now?
I was almost paralyzed by his words, but I mustered the strength to move my legs.
Seems like there's a room for each of us.
Names popped up on the door plates, followed by an image. Fritz, Gemini Praece. Elke, Gemini Mentor. Sigrun Ars. My eyes danced over the names of some of them.
Hey, I found her!
A female stood by the tree.
Good, good. Then all of us are accounted for.
The girl had long blonde hair, set into a ponytail dangling down to around the middle of her back. 2 strands of hair came from her head, dangling over her face. Her eyes were a dull purple, hidden behind a pair of black half-eye glasses without a frame on top. She wore a white lab coat, but the ends of the coat, the tail of it, was cut into pieces. 5 different strands of fabric spread out. She wore yellow rubber gloves with holes at the tips of each finger, showing her nails, which were painted black. She had spiky earrings in her right ear, 5 of them going down the ear's helix down to the lobule. She had a slight bit of black eyeliner on. Underneath the lab coat was a black crop top shirt with the design of a white skull on it. The skull had purple eyes, and there were a few designer scratches on the clothes themselves. Underneath, she had a fishnet shirt. She wore black pants with black boots. The chain was wrapped around her waist, taking the function of a belt.
Yep, making it easier to share intel.
Intel?
We can wait with that till later. First and foremost, it is important you get to know your classmates. Sigrun, if you would introduce yourself.
My name is Sigrun Ars. Like this guy here, I am also an ultimate. I am not much for small talk, so I will keep it brief. I am the ultimate scientist.
She declared it to me short and sweet. No extensive introduction or drama. When I looked at her, I was a bit confused. She seemed so gothic. I didn't expect the ultimate scientist to look like this, but if she were handpicked by BSTT, I shouldn't doubt her. She clearly knows her stuff.
And this here is Zoe. She's the ultimate judge.
I see. A judge.
Did the others already split up, or are there still people in the cafeteria?
The area we were in was a collection of hallways. From the tree, 4 corridors spread out. The one we just came from led down to our rooms. Then there was one to the left of the tree. A simple corridor that leads down to a pair of double doors. To the right of the tree was a corridor that led down to a sharp 90-degree crack, making it impossible to see what was down that way. The last hallway was right behind the tree. It led to a 90-degree T-section. There was a corridor to the right, but you could walk past that corridor and end up at a pair of purple doors.
Yes, some of them stayed behind, but not all. Some of them got a bit impatient and went out to have a look around. In all honesty, I understand why.
Well, you can go have a look around for now. I think I'll show Zoe around and introduce her to the others. Better get an understanding of who you're with, am I right?
I would have done it without your permission.
Marcel gave me a smile as Sigrun left, clearly not bothered by our comment. He gestured for us to go, and we went down the hall to the double doors.
Welcome.
He pushed open the doors, revealing a big room. Lots of tables lined the floor, with wooden chairs pushed up against them. The floor itself was a white and black checkerboard motif. The walls were beige, with an orange outline at the bottom and top. In the far back were 2 gray doors with a circular window at the top. The doors didn't touch the floor, so you could quickly push them open and walk through them, kind of like the doors to a kitchen at a restaurant. On the roof there were white panels, but some of them were missing and replaced with a light that shone down upon the room. The most out-of-place thing in the whole room, though, was the whole right wall, covered in a giant iron plate shielding it from top to bottom.
This right here is the cafeteria.
Inside this room were a few other teenagers.
Go around, get to know them. All of them are your classmates, okay?
Marcel gave me a slight push, and I stumbled a bit forward.
Hey! Don't rush her, Marcy.
The girl walked up to us. Her hair was long and orange, loosely hanging down her shoulders and down her back with bangs over her forehead. Yellow stripes went through her hair from her bangs to the tip at the back, 3 of them in total. Her eyes were green with a bit of black shine to them. Her face had freckles, a lot of them, and it seemed one of her front teeth was missing. She was wearing a white t-shirt with a black motif on it. Even if I tried, I couldn't describe it. It just seemed like a bunch of black lines put together to make an abstract piece. Over the t-shirt, she wore a short-sleeved brown safari jacket. She had an armband on her right arm, which had a small glass orb on it. Inside the orb was a compass. She had another brown leather strap above her arm, and one more just above her elbow. She had cargo pants and wore black mountain climber boots. She had a brown satchel swung over her shoulder, and lastly, a string necklace with a shark tooth on it. She had a rope tied to her hip, using one of the straps in her belt. She also had a pair of goggles wrapped around her neck, dangling around her throat, and a couple of fingerless brown leather gloves to finish the attire.
Yeah, sorry. I just think it should be done quickly. This right here is...
Before Marcel could finish his introduction, the girl sprang forward and shook my hand powerfully.
Nice to meet ya. Name's Scarlett. Scarlett Iter. I'm an Australian exchange student this year. I'm known as the ultimate adventurer.
Her handshake was so powerful that it shook my whole body. Adventurer?
Well, some people like to call it extreme sports and stuff, but I like to call them adventures. Me and my family travel around the world and explore all kinds of places. I try skydiving, normal diving, mountain climbing, and animal taming. I sailed across the sea in a small boat. I flew a plane. All that kind of stuff. You know?
That's impressive. Why is she still shaking my hand?
What's your talent, Missy?
She finally let go of my hand. Name's Zoe. Zoe Ludex. Ultimate Judge.
Wait. Did someone say judge?
I looked towards the incoming person. It was a guy who had short hair neatly trimmed around his head. It was blonde, but starting to turn black at the top, meaning he had clearly bleached his hair. He had red eyes, and his face was covered in an oversized red scarf. I could see a piercing in his right eyebrow, though. The scarf was very over the top because it stretched a meter behind him in length, flying when he was running but just dangling to the back of his knees while standing still. He had bandages around his right hand and silver rings with different gems over the bandages on his fingers. His other arm had like 5 different bracelets. One of them looked like prayer beads, another one of those cheap silver bracelets with a tribal design on them. Another was a black band with a purple gem on it. One was a watch with a very over-the-top design, having demon's wings be the hands of the clock. And lastly, he had tied a piece of bandage around his left arm. He wore a red trench coat with the top buttons closed, hiding his upper body but revealing that he was wearing a white shirt underneath, stuffed half into his pants with a bit of the shirt coming out. Wore black pants with 3 black leather straps wrapped around both of his thighs and long black boots going to his knees. He had a chain earring on his right ear with a cross at the end.
I see. Finally, someone of my standard.
Don't mind him. He's a bit... different.
The other teenager approached. He pointed at me with his bandaged arm.
The ghost within me senses that you and I are destined to walk the same path, Judge. We both fight justice, you in the real world, and I in the ghost world.
Zoe, me...
You shall know me as Catalyst, the famous ghost detective and demon hunter who travels the world on a hunt for monsters and keeps the common folk safe. I am the legendary...
His name is Lucas Sanctus, and he's the ultimate paranormal investigator.
Hey man, not cool. I mean... Ah, yes! I do bear a human name like you. It's something I chose so I don't scare away the common folk.
Luca here is a paranormal investigator. He has a massive following on social media for his adventures into strange and haunted places, exorcising demons and hunting ghosts.
Marcel then leaned in close and whispered.
But I think it's just some made-up stuff. I'm guessing people just really like him for his over-the-top personality.
I didn't understand it, but from what I could get, didn't seem like Luca here was a bad person.
He just had a bit of an identity crisis. I looked toward him, hands on his hips, laughing loudly at the ceiling.
Please, lower your voice.
Sprawled onto one of the tables was another teenager. He sat up, placing his feet into a half-lotus position and just stared at us. He had white and black hair, white at the top, and as it went down in long strands, black, covering his right eye and going to his shoulders. His eyes were a pale gray, and he was wearing fluffy slippers with a horse design. His pants were pajama pants with a black and white checker design. He had a small necklace with a crown on it. His shirt was a white dress shirt with rolled-up sleeves. He was holding a small pipe-like contraption, a Kiseru bubble pipe, producing tiny bubbles as he blew into it. He had a tiny bit of stubble of a beard on his chin, just a few hairs, and when he spoke, you could see he had a small white dot on his tongue, seemingly a tongue piercing. He also had some sort of claw on his right index finger, a silver metal black fingernail guard claw, the black outline and a very bright white tip. He also had some shine around his eyes and some spiky makeup.
Sorry, do my bellowing roars scare you, mortal? I, Catalyst, shall lower my voice so my demonic howls do not wreak terror in your body.
Sorry, Victor.
Marcel raised his hand and pulled Luke aside to talk to him calmly.
Unhand me, mortal!
The boy named Victor looked my way, softly pressed his claw to the tip of his lip, and tilted his head.
You're the one who hadn't woken up?
He seemed to just look at me calmly, but I felt some intense aura behind his stare.
My name is Victor Knightley. I am the ultimate chess player.
His gaze seemed calm as he grabbed his kiseru, placing it against his lips and letting out a few bubbles.
I don't really like loud noises, so someone like Luca is the complete opposite of me. On the other hand, I do respect someone who can sleep well and for long. So, I do hope we get along, Zoe.
He said those words after the last bubble popped, and then laid down on the table again, closing his eyes. Marcel had taken off with Luca for now, leaving me with Scarlett at my side.
Hey, Astrid! You gotta come meet this girl!
There was a girl standing up against the metal plate. She didn't turn towards us instantly. She was pressing her face against the plate and humming.
Do you hear that?
The girl ran a finger over the metal plate as she uttered those words. She then slowly turned to us with a big grin. She wore a complete yellow raincoat with the hood up. The raincoat itself was oversized, hiding her hands. The hood had the design of 2 long bunny ears. Her eyes were completely blue, and her hair itself was neon blue, with 2 long strands of hair coming out of the hood resting over her chest. And the further you went from the blue, it slowly turned into 2 yellow strands. The raincoat was open, revealing a wool turtleneck sweater with the rain cloud embroidered on it. She was wearing a pink skirt with ribbons around the bottom lining and a cute little white drawn bunny design. She had big socks on, going all the way up to her knees. They were white and fluffy and a pair of flip-flops on them with 2 bunny ears coming out of them.
It's the sound of rain coming! Rain means rainbows!
She dashed across the room, leaping onto one of the tables and spreading out her arms.
Yo! Do you like sunny weather or rainy weather?
She pointed directly at me with a big grin on her face.
Weather? Well, I like sunny weather, but rainy weather if I'm inside. It makes it cozy for when I read.
She gave a firm nod to that, placing her hands on her hips.
Good. Someone who only appreciates sun or rain is not good enough for this weather's perfect symphony.
She spread out her arms, like accepting the rain from above, but then just looked directly at me and grinned.
Name's Astrid Calum. I'm a weather anchor, forecaster, and also known as the ultimate meteorologist.
She then ran over to the plate again and hugged it, pressing her hands and face to the plate itself.
Shh. Listen. It's there. You can taste it in the moisture in the air.
vibration in the plate. The essence in my core tells me it's raining!
She was acting weird, but again, compared to...
What do you mean I have to talk normally, mortal? I am Catalyst, the great demon hunter and ghost befriender. You shan't silence me.
I just looked their way, and then my eyes caught something disturbing. A person was sitting by themselves at the table in the corner looking our way, but they weren't blinking. Well, technically speaking, I don't think they can blink. The person was a very tall creature with a motorcycle helmet on. The helmet had an LED display on it, which showcased a lot of small golden cubes, creating the image of a smiley face. The person was wearing a green shirt with a black vest over and 2 black gloves. It wore black jeans with black boots going all the way up to the knees. You could see long strands of black hair coming out of the helmet, resting down over its green shirt and black vest, but every tip of its hair kind of curled into a small question mark hook, and the ends of its hair were gold.
What the?
I quickly moved back as the creature slowly stood up and walked towards us.
We tried to speak to that one for a while, but...
The smiley indicator on its LED display changed into the symbol of a question mark, and then back to the smiley.
Hello, I am me.
That is one voice.
What do you mean, you?
Scarlett got between me and the creature.
I am just me.
It was holding up both hands in a show of non-violence.
Are you an ultimate?
The silence spell the creature wielded has been cured. Suddenly it will speak. Was it self-inflicted or externally inflicted? I can't discern it with my aura reading.
I am one of the ultimates.
The creature said as its LED screen turned into the image of a trophy.
You are an ultimate?
Name unknown. Gender unknown. Ultimate enigma.
All of us tilted our heads at its statement.
Ultimate enigma?
Yes, I am the ultimate enigma. No name, no gender.
We all looked at each other for a moment.
I have heard of mimics taking human forms. This might be one of those. Do not lower your guard.
All of us kept our distance from it. An unknown creature like this just couldn't be trusted.
Nice to meet you, Enigma.
She held out her hand, and the creature took it.
Nice to meet you.
His LED screen turned into a warm smile, with 2 orbs around the smiley to indicate a blush. They were colored red instead of the regular yellow.
Guys, it's just like us. All ultimates are a bit quirky. Why shun it?
Astrid, I know ultimates can be quirky, but...
It's unique. I understand, but look at it. It's smiling, and it isn't really hostile.
It's true. It might not have talked much, but at least it didn't hurt anyone. I say innocent till proven otherwise, right?
What do you think, Zoe?
Well, again, as Scarlett said, it isn't really hurting anyone. Well, let's give it a chance.
And if it becomes hostile, let Catalyst take care of it. I can tame even the most subtle of mimics.
Thank you.
Fine, I concede. Nice to meet you, Enigma.
Pleasure is mine, surely.
A silence fell over the cafeteria. Scarlett, Luca, Victor, Astrid, Enigma. All of them were my classmates.
Where did the others go?
Some of them didn't want to wait around for Miss Sleepyhead.
Scarlett placed a hand on my shoulder.
The others sought out the truest of mysteries, why we all have been summoned to this place. I can feel the ghost resting in my hand, longing for the mystery. So, shan't we all venture out into the unknown as a group?
Lucas struck a pose and pointed to the sky. The rest of us looked at him for a few seconds before turning back to each other.
I don't mind going out together, but I guess someone still has to search this room behind us.
Marcel pointed over his shoulder at the flip doors in the back. The rest of us nodded.
What about you and me, Enigma?
Astrid beamed a warm smile at it. Enigma turned its screen into a thumbs up.
I also don't mind staying here. Not because I'm curious about this room, I just found an excellent position for a nap, you know.
Victor finally said something again, raising a hand weakly from his lying position.
Okie dokie! Shall we venture out?
She placed her hand on my and Marcel's shoulder.
Sure thing.
Good luck, guys!
Good luck.
See you in a bit.
We all split up and went out to the orange doors again, returning to the weird tree in the hallway.
Excuse me, is no one gonna offer to join Catalyst?
Luca was left behind with the others, seemingly waiting for an invitation. When we arrived at the tree, we saw Sigrun.
Hello, and thanks for watching our first part of Danganronpa Long-lasting Limbo. The prologue is done and will be premiered over 3 weeks, with the first part today, and the next part next Friday, and lastly the last part somewhere in week 15. I apologize a lot for the text jumping in the text box. It was a mistake in my editing program that I couldn't fix, but it will be fixed for part 2 and 3. It's been a long while in the making, and I'm so happy I can finally share this all with you. First, I would like to thank all of my VAs for doing such a great job and bearing over with the long waits and the many hours of reading and recording. Next, I would like to give a special thanks to Raku, who plays Astrid, for designing the UI for the videos, and also to Kit Emden, who made the emblem and title logo. You can find the link in the description. I want to honor them because they did such an amazing work. I would also like to thank Amelia and Neirin, the voice actor of Sigrun and the voice actor of James-Ashtyn, who has been great help in script and video editing. Mostly spent a lot of hours watching my endless amount of video editing and small nitpick things. Lastly, I would really like to thank Saito, our lovely music producer, for creating every single piece of music for the Fangan. Seriously, you're great. We worked with each other for so long. Love you. And I couldn't have done it all without every single person who worked on this. The voice actors, the people who has helped me, the admins, the art designers, and the musician. I will end up with saying that we now have an official Discord from today onwards, where we can discuss story and interact with the cast. I would love to see you there. You can find that link in the description below. The script for chapter 1 is mostly done, and we will soon start recording for that too. The prologue will be out in 3 parts, this one today, one more next week, and the last one in 2 weeks. And when that is done, we will release a video where the prologue goes on in all its 1 hour and 44 minutes length. So yeah, this has been Salvamore, finally showcasing the first part of Danganronpa Long-lasting Limbo. So once again, thank you for watching, subscribe, and I hope to see you on the Discord. Bye!